Welcome to the Rethink and Return podcast. My name is Jason Shepard. Every week, we rethink things and return to God's original intention and His design. We generally do 2 recordings a week. One, we revisit a passage of Scripture that thousands of people are studying together in a Sunday gathering or in a house church, and we're just going to dig more deeply into these things that we didn't get to talk about enough or want to talk about more that we're wrestling with. And then we do another recording where we're just working out leadership things, being a pastor and ministry or leading stuff, and wrestling with tensions of how we live like that in our world today. So we'd love for you to like this, subscribe to it, share it with other people. Enjoy the podcast. We'll see you soon. Hey, thanks for joining us on the Rethink and Return podcast. We like sitting around and talking about stuff with the Bible, stuff with church. Today we're having a leadership talk with my amigo, my compadre, Jason Scare.
What's up, man?
Good to see you, homie. Good. Scare is a colleague. We worked together. We worked together years ago, then we didn't, and now we have been about a year again together.
Yeah, a little more than that, yeah.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, time's flying when we're getting old. You're getting old, man.
I feel it, but I got my sexy radio voice today.
Well, that's good. Well, the weather's changing. It's cold outside.
Yeah.
And we're all bundled up in here because my office is either really hot or really cold.
Yeah.
It is never, the 3 little bears, they didn't get to my office. They never said, that's just right. It's either hot or cold. Today it's cold like outside. But today we're talking about leadership stuff, and we're talking about the words you used earlier, we're leading with a limp.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about what that means. I also want to talk about what it means when you hire somebody who hasn't gone through that yet, because we've hired a lot of young people on the other side of a limp, and we got to account for that in our leadership. So, leadership is hard. I remember not long after I started Church Project, I went to a pastor, older guy, who I'd worked for years, who I respect. And I'm like, hey, what's the hardest part of pastoring in your mind? And he said, honestly, it's leading the staff. And I would say that there are different things that are hard, but leadership of a team is a significant issue. It's been a hard thing. As much as I love our team and have loved our teams, and I love our team now, leadership of a team is hard. But let's talk about leadership with a limp, why we think that matters, and what we need to watch out for when we're hiring somebody who's young and who hasn't gone through that yet. So when we say leading with a limp, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I forget who brought it up to me, but I was in a conversation with somebody, I think maybe a decade ago, and they kind of lived by this quote, never trust a man without a limp. And I think he said he heard it from his grandfather or something like that.
Yeah.
And the whole idea was, hey, if you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking for a leader, somebody to get advice from, make sure that they've been through some stuff. Make sure that they've seen some things and been through some things. So that they can point you in a wise direction. And so that's kind of where it all started, and it's just kind of carried with me through all my leadership endeavors.
I mean, it's a good principle, yet if we're going to hire people when they're young and help develop them, we got to know they probably haven't been, and the idea, I think, comes all the way back from Genesis, where Jacob's wrestling with God, and then God touches his hip, and he walks with a limp for the rest of his life. So Jacob wrestled with God. He walks away from that with a limp, but he's a different leader on the other side of it. I remember I worked at a church while I was in college, and then after college, and this visiting preacher came in, and he was talking about pain in his life, and he said some quote. I don't know where it came from, but it's a pretty common quote. It said, God will never use a man greatly until he wounds him deeply. And I thought, well, I hope that's not true, because I want him to use me greatly, but I don't want him to wound me deeply. And I don't know that I want to stick around for that. And but I would say, man, I've had some wounds, you've had some wounds, and they've affected me on the other side of them.
Yeah, and we're better leaders for it.
100%.
They're not fun to go through, but they're inevitable. I think, when you're 30 years old and think you're the best leader on earth, you realize you don't know anything yet. Now that I'm almost 50, I look back like, wow.
Yeah.
But you don't get there without all of those hurts and pains and struggles. Yeah. It's part of the way, man.
I wish it wasn't true.
Me too.
So let's talk about when we hire people, and we've hired a lot of young people here over the years.
Yeah.
We hire people on the other side of the limp, like on the like pre-limp,
Yeah,
like,
fully functional people.
Yeah, like there's some naivety. There's probably I'll just say that about myself. Before I really started getting wounded in life, and I would say wounds come from personal parts of life, and then wounds come from like ministry wounds. So there's both. Like you'll get wounds in your personal life, and you'll get wounds in ministry. Before I went through all that, I think I had a pure heart for the Lord. I was passionate, but what I didn't know what I didn't know, and I had some naivety, probably some hubris, probably some arrogance, some confidence that would later be adjusted from wounds.
Yeah, and I think there is a balance, and it is healthy. Like, I mean, we can talk about all the benefits of hiring somebody who has wisdom and experience and all of that. And, I think the best leaders I've ever hired are probably in that category.
Yeah.
But it's not always possible.
That's right.
Depending on the role, depending on the season you are in an organization, you can't always hire the best and the brightest. Sometimes you have to take a chance on somebody young and inexperienced.
Yeah.
But I have found that there is some positivity in that as well, and some of the you just named, right? Like there is some naivety that is helpful. Yeah. There is some optimism that is very helpful. They're not jaded yet. They haven't seen all the bad stuff, and they are strong, man, and resilient, and willing to try things that maybe some older people who've been hurt aren't willing to try.
That's right. No, that is good, and that we like having that here. I would say if somebody's young and they're watching this, and they haven't really been through this wounding in ministry or wounding in their own life, I think it's good for them. If you're watching this and you're young and you haven't been through that stuff yet, to at least acknowledge, hey, I am on the pre-limp side of life. I haven't been mortally wounded, or I haven't been significantly wounded in my personal life, and I haven't been really wounded in ministry yet. And there are some things that those things are going to teach me that I don't yet know. I think I wish I would have had that perspective about myself.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had my courage, my passion, my speed. I'm glad I had all that. But if I would have had that and at least the awareness of, hey, life's going to bring you some stuff that's going to season you and deepen you and mature you. If I would have had that with that, man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, with all the optimism and all the confidence, also sometimes comes a lack of humility.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're talking about. Like a realization that, hey, I'm not the best leader yet. I know I'm going to need to go through some things. I don't have the wisdom and experience that I need yet. But that doesn't mean I can't lead today.
Yeah.
It just means I don't know everything, and I'm not as amazing as I probably think I am. So I think that's helpful. What other things in your mind are missing in a young leader in that way from not having all of that wisdom and experience?
Well, I'm 51. I'll be 52 10 days from now. I've been doing this since I was 18, working in churches, So, and I've hired a lot of people over the years, and I've seen a lot of my friends. I would say from the young people that I've hired, or the friends that I've seen, the people that I know that have gone to work in other places, I've seen a lot of young people go work in. They've had great opportunities to be in great places, but they'll go to those places and have a critical spirit. I've seen it happen here. I've been that at other places.
Yeah.
A critical spirit that really keeps you from growing in that place. I think of one person who went to one of the greatest churches in America, had a real opportunity to sit there and grow, but just saw everything wrong with that place and everything wrong with their leader. And instead of going, hey, there's probably some things I can grow from here that I just need to sit and grow. They remove themselves from that environment out of a critical spirit, and that critical spirit stayed with that person every other place they went to work. And I think that's the most dangerous part of the pre-limp life. Is that critical spirit, that hubris, that arrogant spirit. The passion's not dangerous. The courage isn't dangerous. Even the pure naivety isn't dangerous. But the critical spirit on that, the limp's going to give you humility. It's going to take the edge off your critical spirit. And so that's what I would say.
That's a good thought. I like that. I think the other thing I've observed with the younger generation, I got a lot of them in our house, and you do too.
Yeah.
It seems like an unwillingness to do the work.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that's related somehow to a lack of life experience.
Yeah.
Or if it's just a generational thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're not willing to do the preparation. They're not willing to do the work. They're not willing to go the extra mile just to get the thing done.
Yeah.
And it's something I haven't placed my finger on, but I do feel like it's prevalent in this generation, this younger generation. Not like I'm super old, but I do feel like a more fatherly figure around here than I used to. But, you know, you get somebody here that's in their early 20s or mid-20s, and again, with my own kids sometimes, it's just like, you don't understand what it means to really work.
Man, I had lunch today with some old heads, you know, like some older dudes, like they're the generation ahead of me.
Yeah.
And we were sitting around at lunch talking about this very thing today. Just a lack of accountability, a lack of a sense of accountability, a lack of just going the extra mile. When I think about the stuff that I've done over the decades that nobody will ever know about or see, or the extra stuff I put in, I do find that I don't find it lacking in everybody in that generation, but generally we have found that lacking as leaders. We have found that lacking from other people. And I will say there are people who are our age and older who sometimes exhibit that as well, but there does seem to be a generational thing. I do think it's a lack. I think it's a little bit of a hubris that comes from a attitude of arrogance. It creates a critical spirit, and with the critical spirit comes a real lack of accountability.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I guess the thing I would add just to the generational thing is that there are some young people who have been through some stuff.
That's right.
It's not mutually exclusive. Like, we've got some young guys here who have some stories and some backgrounds that really fit us well, actually.
That's right.
Some pretty raw, rugged stuff that they've fought through in their childhood or you know, their early adulthood.
Yeah.
And so, you know, limping is not,
that's right,
you know, reserved just for the old people. You know, so I think if you're a young person out there, you know, a young leader, I mean, it's one of the questions I always ask when we're hiring somebody. Hey, what's your limp?
That's right.
What's your story?
That's good.
And sometimes I'm surprised at what they say, even at such an early age.
I think what we're acknowledging is that there is a pre-limp life and a post-limp life. And not that we want a limp to happen to somebody, and not that we're not going to see high value in somebody pre-limp, but if you're hiring somebody pre-limp life, you have to account for, and I have missed this at times. We have to account for the deficit that the limp, the pre-limp has caused them. On the other side of a limp, though, a limp does something to you. You and I, we could talk, and that's not what we're doing now, but we could talk about things that have caused a lot of pain in our life. But I do think we should at least say a little bit of what those limps have done for us on the other side of it.
That's right.
Right? Like how has your limps, however, if somebody asked you that, you would give these one or two things. How have those things changed you? Yeah,
I mean, when you say never trust a man without a limp, the obvious question is, why would you trust a man with a limp? You know, like what's so valuable in the limp? Good. For me, one is wisdom, right? We've just seen some things. We've been through some stuff. We've been through situations. And so we have answers. We have perspectives that we just wouldn't have.
Totally.
If we hadn't been through some stuff. But maybe the bigger one for me is steadiness. Like it takes a lot to shake somebody that's been through a lot of things. And so if you're leading at a high level in a big organization, it's going to be some rocky times. You know, the boat's going to get rocked. But it's not going to rock your confidence. It's not going to rock your ultimate hope and perspective if you have that limp. Like,
that's good.
You've seen God take you through some things. You've seen yourself pick yourself up and figure it out, you know, So, you know, I tell my wife all the time, like, it's going to take a lot to shake me. Like, if you see me nervous, then be nervous because I'm nervous, you know? But it just doesn't happen as much at 50 as it did at 20 or 30.
Man, I'm so glad it changes.
Yeah,
I tell Brooke the same thing. I'm like, the only time you need to be worried is when I'm worried.
There you go.
But when I'm worried, she gets real
Be worried.
Yeah, she gets
it's a real
worried.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, no, man, that's good. Yeah, I had a talk with a guy on our team recently. It's fairly new. and he's a little bit older. He's been through some stuff. And I just talked to him about, different seasons in our church. And he's like, man, I've been through all the seasons. I've seen it all. He's like, I'm unshakable.
There you go.
And I think that is something like, if you're a young person that wants a job, that you want to have a significant role somewhere, and you want to engender confidence from the people who are going to be leading you, one of the things that those people are looking for is somebody who's not easily shaken.
That's right.
Somebody who's they're just calm in the storm. Because up here, like people may be down on the sub, but we're on the periscope above looking around, and those waves get real choppy. And sometimes I'm like, hey, they think that they can handle it, but it's rougher up here.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I'm looking for are the people who we can bring up here with us. The winds are blowing harder, the waves are higher, and if you want to come up and lead at a higher level, you've got to be able to withstand the stuff. And I think that's the thing that I'm looking for, maybe you're looking for in people you lead, is, hey, are they exhibiting the characteristics of somebody who are really unmovable?
Yeah. I don't need people that are freaking out over every email or phone call or criticism or post. I don't have time for that. I don't have patience for that. And so I think we're talking about the same thing in some ways. Like, there's a youthful optimism, like when you don't have a limp and you're just optimistic about the whole world. A limping optimism is better, meaning you've been through all the things. And so when the storm hits, you still have the optimism. Yeah. It's not like jumping around and all of that stuff, but you're just like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
I've seen God pull us through this before, or I've seen this organization weather this storm before.
Yeah.
We're going to be okay.
That's right.
As I tell you all the time, we face some bumps in the road along the way. I'm like, I like our chances.
You say that a lot. I like our chances. And I do too. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of confidence that leaders give to go, hey, I've been through this, and I'm not worried. I think, every once in a while, if something's really hard, I'll be honest with our team, our whole team. Hey, man, this is a tough season for this reason. But generally, the attitude that I carry, and it's authentic, it's real, is, hey, whatever it is right now, whatever season we're in, I've already seen it.
Yeah.
And we made it through it, and we were actually better on the other side for it. So if you want to hang on with us, and if we want to hang on with you, it's going to be fun on the other side, but right now it's a little bit tough. It's an extra weight on a leader whenever you're going through a season that's tough, that the people that you're leading, that they need extra from you.
Yeah.
When really the leaders who are leading the thing that you're working for, they need you to be stronger right now, because if you require extra energy from them, that's going to stick,
Absolutely. Like, I just think it's so natural. I mean, those are the leaders that we want around us, right? If you've got a parent or a coach or a leader or a teacher who's always panicking about the latest thing, like it doesn't engender a lot of confidence, and it's not a fun place to be.
That's right.
And you can't manufacture it, right? You don't want to be fake and phony about it, like, hey, everything's going to be all right, if you don't believe everything's all right. But again, I think most of the people that have that kind of confidence and kind of stature and dependability are people who've been through the stuff, man. And so it comes from a real place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look shaken because I'm not shaken. I don't have to fake it.
That's right. Yeah. It's really good for me to sit. I mean, one of the things that I have done over the years that has really helped me is I've had people older than me in my life, mentors in my life, who they have their stories of their pain, the seasons that they went through. I mean, I was with a leader last week for like 6 or 8 hours, like a whole after day and night kind of thing. We traveled to a different city, watched a game, came back, talked a lot of the time. And it was good for me to talk with him because he's a generation ahead of me and just go, hey, tell me about some seasons that you've weathered and how you've walked through them. And just to hear everybody's going to go through challenges and seasons. And when these guys are steady and how they walked through it, that's helpful for me.
I think it's one of the best things that you do, because I know you do it. You hang out with mentors and people who are good leaders and are intentional about that. And so if I was giving advice to young people, like I do my own kids, hang around with people like that, man.
That's right.
Hear their stories. Like, if you don't have your own limp, at least gain the wisdom from somebody else.
100%. That's really good. That's really, really wise. Yeah, because, you know, when I'm that 20-year-old guy sitting in that seat, 21 maybe at the time, and this guy says, God uses people greatly who he wounds deeply. And I'm like, I haven't been wounded deeply, and I don't want to be, and I don't think I will be. I don't think we go and look for our pain. We don't need to go manufacture it. We don't even need to start preparing for it. I mean, life's just going to happen to everybody here. Yeah. So until you go through that yourself, whatever pain it is, learn from other people.
Yeah. And they'll be there for you when you eventually get through your stuff.
That's good.
Like, just having older, wiser, more seasoned people in your life.
That's right.
Invaluable in so many ways.
Well, I mean, not to digress too much into ecclesiology, but one of the beautiful things I think God intended for the church is that we're going to be around those people. You know, when we talk about age isn't everything.
No.
But age does give people more opportunity to go through stuff. You know, the longer you live, the more opportunity you've had to go through some stuff. And so when we sit down with people who are older than us and we get to know their stories, they have more stories of stuff they've been through.
Yeah.
And so that I love that God intended in the church that we would just be living in community with people older than us.
Yeah.
And people older than us live in community with people younger than us so that we're pouring into each other, gaining from each other. My grandparents, I mean, I lived with them. My parents divorced like in my 8th grade year, and I went and lived with my grandparents. And I remember my grandparents years later told me, they're like, you saved my life. You saved our lives is what they told me.
Wow.
Like, you gave us some reason to live, and it was a difficult transition. They just sold their business. They didn't know anything to do, and they're like, you gave us some purpose. And I'm like, well, you saved my life, man. Where was I going to go? What was I going to do? I had nowhere to go. And so I think there's a real beauty. Like, my mentors that I sit with that can tell me the stories of the seasons that they've gone through, I thank them often for letting me be around them, and they thank me for the relationship, you know.
It's a beautiful thing, the way God's wired all that, you know, because you do hear stories of people that have been through significant stuff, or you read the passages in the scripture of all the great saints that have been through all this stuff for the sake of the gospel. And it does give you strength, like, hey, if God can get them through that, then maybe he can get me through my stuff too.
Right.
And at the same time, as you just said, you know, the older folks, the wiser folks, the mentors, they feel like they're being useful, and they've been able to give their wisdom away, and in a very kind of wild way, like their story becomes more redemptive because now they're helping you.
Totally.
So, like, not only did I learn something from going through all my struggles, but now I'm helping somebody else.
Yeah.
And it feels good to be able to help people that way. So again, if you're a young person, like, I think sometimes we're ashamed to ask for help or ask for wisdom or have these kind of, like, it's some kind of a admission for weakness or something. But I think there's a lot of eager older people that would love to invest in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I couldn't reiterate that more. And I have people come up to me a lot, and they're like, hey, can I spend some time with you one-on-one? Can I get with you? Can you disciple me? Can you mentor me? And I'm like, I probably can't. You know, I mean, I can't say yes to everybody. I say yes to as many people as I can. But first, I want to see you go and get it. We've already provided a context for you to get that. And so we were teaching a big men's Bible study a couple of months ago, and I told the younger dudes in the room, I'm like, look around the room, and anybody with half gray hair, go ask for their number and see if you can go to lunch with them. Just get around some wiser people. But again, I know a lot of older people who aren't wise, so it's just not age. But age does give you more opportunities to go through more stuff. So to summarize where we are now, and then we'll move to anything else that's next.
Sure.
So there's a pre-limp life and a post-limp life, and a limp is a demarcation of a significant pain that changed the way you see the world. And it affects you.
That's right.
And so a pre-limp life is a good life, and we shouldn't live in fear of the pain that's going to come. But we need to be aware in our pre-limp, which is a deep wound, personally or in ministry, we need to be aware that there's some things we're lacking that might create some arrogance. It might create a lack of gratitude. It might create a sense of urgency. It might create a sense of accountability, which is contributing to, in this generation, I think this generation is avoiding, we'll break into this for a second. I think they're avoiding getting hurt. That's why they're marrying later.
Huh.
You know, they're not having children because and some of them are, less people are committing to even vocational ministry than before because there's a lot of pain in those things. So I don't get married. I remove that opportunity for pain because I saw my parents go through the pain, or I'm not going to have kids because kids can hurt you and it's going to be hard, you know, and then, or financially those things can hurt you. So I'm just going to take care of myself. So I think people have removed pain points in their life as much as possible. And they're just carrying longer a life without a real limp because they've removed, and people aren't living in community as much as they used to because now people can't hurt me if I'm not around them. And so we've removed all these things that can hurt us. And it's keeping us from getting wounded, which is, the wound is one of the things that's going to give us a new humility and a new gratitude. And so I would just say, if you're in your pre-limp life, and maybe you're older and you've avoided it somehow, just acknowledge, man, there is some stuff that a limp would give me that I don't have yet. Be at least wise enough and humble enough to admit that. And then, if you're in your post-limp life, we got to help the other people. Yeah. We got to help the youngins.
Yeah,
you know,
can't be jaded. I think the best teams I've been a part of have a good balance of both. Right? You've got the seasoned veterans that are dependable and trustworthy and seen all the stuff. And
That's right.
You got a big thing that needs to be led. You can put it in their hands and you know it's going to be okay.
Right.
And you got some young and up-and-comers with all the potential and opportunity in front of them. And, man, they just bring a lot of life to the building. They bring a lot of life to the team and some optimism, some naivety that you need every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a balance of those things, I think you have a chance for something really beautiful.
Yeah.
Because, one, you've got some young folks that are going to get to learn from some seasoned veterans and they're going to be better leaders. But even for the older leaders, like, one of the best parts about my job right now is the ability to invest in some younger folks.
Yeah.
Like, I actually like going to lunch with them. I actually like answering their questions, or, hey, I just got in a car wreck. What do I do with insurance and all that? You know, it's like having more kids in You get to give them wisdom. And some of them, you know, they don't have anywhere else to go.
That's right.
They don't have a great family background. They don't have a great, you know, organizational leadership background. So they don't have these mentors in their life.
That's right.
So the ability to be that for somebody is a very powerful and useful thing. Yeah. And so then you got people coming into the building every day. They feel like we're being used and we're useful and we're actually enjoying it. Yeah. Like, it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it is a cool thing. And I think we have a really good mix of that right now. And I like where it is. What other stuff would you say, you know, if we say never hire somebody who doesn't have a limp, then that was going to keep away a lot of the stuff we said. So we're acknowledging the pre-limp stuff. Yeah. We're helping people mitigate it. My encouragement to people in that pre-limp life is be humble, be aware, and help offset it.
Yeah.
So we hire people who have a limp. Man, we know they're going to make it through the seasons with us. We know they're going to be relaxed. We know that they're not shaken when a storm comes. I mean, that's for me a good team is some people around me who, when a storm comes, are like, give me the ball.
That's right. I think where you get yourself in trouble is putting the wrong people in the wrong positions.
Yeah.
So I think you need a balance on your team.
Yeah.
But if you put an unseasoned, unwise, unlimping person in a super like high capacity, very influential, high stakes job, you might be setting yourself up for some trouble.
Yeah.
Because they're just not ready for it yet.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not going to be ready at some point.
That's right.
So I think some of this, you know, my grid for all of this is dependent upon the position that I'm hiring for.
Yeah, that's good.
And so, you know, again, if it's a C-suite executive level thing, I'm not hiring a 20-year-old somebody for that.
That's right.
Unless I'm, you know, running a tech company, which we're not.
Yeah.
And so I think that applies too to the young people in your organization. Like, when you get young, hungry, excited, talented people, sometimes they get like antsy and like, hey,
that's right.
How come I can't have that job? And so part of your job as a leader is to help them understand, hey, there's a progression here.
Yeah.
You're 25. At some point, you'll be 30 or 35 or 45. Like,
that's right.
The best way to get the job that you want is to be great at the job that you have. That's what I always tell them all the time.
Yeah, I've heard you.
And then part of that is just going to be you growing up and live. And we've got some good examples of that right here in our building right now.
Yeah.
Young kids that we hired a decade ago or more.
That's right.
And now they're some of the most trustable, dependable leaders we got.
Absolutely. So we can hire people without a limp, but they got to be willing to. It is unique for some people we've hired that haven't had a limp in their life yet. Mm-hmm. The ones who have made it and excelled have this humility and this hunger to learn and grow.
Yeah.
I mean, with their passion and courage is also this humility that I think the limp creates a humility in you. And it doesn't necessarily take away your confidence or your courage or your passion or maybe even your speed, but it does create a humility in you and a compassion for other people.
That's right.
And when I see these people who we hire them young and they've been here, almost the life of our thing. People have stayed around here a long time. The ones who have thrived, they have this humility and hunger and they have this self-awareness. It's the people who don't have that who are like, hey, why am I not doing more? Those are the people who usually don't do well.
Yeah. So I think maybe the clarifying principle then in this conversation for me is not don't hire somebody without a limp. That's not the principle I think we're working on. I think the idea is don't trust a man without a limp, meaning the more you need from somebody, that trust level has to be higher.
That's good.
And so, hey, inevitably we're going to bring people in here with all kinds of levels of experience.
Yeah.
But where are we putting them?
That's a great principle.
Like I'm not going to hire a CFO that's never been to school and doesn't understand finance.
That's right.
That's just not how it's going to work. And so if we're hiring somebody to be in charge or pastor a bunch of people in a very significant way, they have to have been through some stuff to relate to the people that they're leading.
Totally. Yeah. I think, and if you lead an organization, if you lead something that has different layers of leadership, we have to be willing to walk with people wherever they are. I say sometimes with the young people we've hired, we made that decision, and we have to lead them through that season. Now, sometimes they're not willing to, and that's not on us. But what is on us is we decided to hire somebody who's unseasoned, they're young, they're going to grow, they're going to learn. We see a lot of potential in them. And if they're willing to, we can help them grow. And being here will help you grow. And we've proven that. But if you don't have the humility to do that, I can't help you.
Yeah, it is all coming back to humility in a lot of ways. And God's going to form that humility in us one way or the other. So it's much better just to let him do it.
I think that, that is an irrevocable truth. Would it humble yourselves before the Lord, and in due time he will lift you up?
There you go.
Yeah, and if we don't humble ourselves, he will humble us.
No doubt.
It's happened to me, and I don't think with humility and brokenness, I have more courage, not less.
That's right.
I have more, clarity for my life, not less. But I carry a little bit of a limp with me. I got some scars.
And that's a leader's job. I think maybe that would be one of the last things I would say about that whole concept is that, if you are going to hire somebody that doesn't have the experience, like you said, we've entered into this agreement with our eyes wide open.
Wide open, yeah.
And so that requires from me as a leader a little more patience.
Yeah, that's right.
Than I would give with the seasoned leader. Like, I know I signed up for this. You're going to make some mistakes. You just haven't been through the war. You don't have the scars.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to be patient with you. But I also think the humility part is a little bit of our responsibility, meaning when they do face some stuff, when they do go through some things, it's our job to show them how to go through that sometimes.
That's right.
We can't just assume that they understand the way.
That's right.
Maybe they haven't had it modeled for them in their home or in previous jobs. They've had bad bosses or whatever. There's 1,000 stories. But I think part of the responsibility of a seasoned leader with a limp is to help others who are going through that figure out how to do that in a healthy and a humble way.
I think I 100% agree with you. And I think I would have to add to that for other guys who who decide to hire people at that place, there will be plenty of times. We've had plenty of stories of people that you hire and you're patient and you're willing to walk with them through all those seasons, and you do. But at some point, your organization may not benefit from all that because they may pull the parachute at some point. They may say, hey, it's too much. I don't want it. They may go somewhere else and do it. So I think we have to be thinking, I'm not only pouring into this person for the sake of my place. I'm pouring into this person for the value of this person and everything else one day that they may pour into the kingdom. Because if it's only for what was I going to get out of you, or what were you going to contribute here, which, I mean, they're here to contribute here.
Yeah.
But if that's the only reason, the frustration will be insurmountable.
Well, I think the thing I would add to that, I'm in total agreement with that, is that at some point, and it's not fun, you may get to the place where you're just like, hey, I'm going to be part of your limping story right now because I'm going to let you go.
Oh, come on.
Like, at some point, you're going to tell me about this great job you had and you got fired because you weren't humble and you didn't know what to do. And we let you go.
Yeah.
So congratulations. You didn't have a limp before, but you got one now.
We were part of your pre-limp and post-limp story. Yeah, that honestly, dude, I would say that's the hardest thing in our job.
No doubt.
Yeah. And getting to a point where you acknowledge that with somebody, you know, I think, and you know, you lead a significant part, the majority of our team here, and you know, we talk every week about our team, and there are people on all parts of that spectrum, you know.
Yeah. And
I love our team, and we have a great team, and I'm grateful for them. But you know, there will always be.
Yeah.
Change. It's like the ocean. It's just always moving, even below the waves. It's always moving, and so I think we'll just keep trying to develop people, and many of them will be here for life, and some of them will be here for a season, and but as long as they're here, I believe they will look back on it and say, I grew a lot while I was there.
Yeah, and I don't think we should just skip past the idea, because it happens a lot in nonprofit world and ministry stuff and church stuff, and I know a lot of people who listen to this are probably in that realm. And for some reason, I think, you know, normal business leaders understand this better. I've certainly had mentors that have helped me understand it better. But like, there are times where you're going to get to a place with somebody where you've given them everything you've got.
Totally.
And it's just not being returned. The return on investment's not there, and it's just not working out.
That's right.
And so you have to be able and willing to be part of their limping story, or they're going to become part of yours. Like, they're going to make your life harder, and they're going to make people's lives harder on your team.
That's right.
And so, like, hey, you're causing a limp for a lot of people right now, so I'm just going to have to let you do this somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I've just run into so many church leaders and nonprofit and ministry leaders because of the nature of the business that we do.
Yeah.
They feel it's cruel or unusual punishment to actually let somebody go or direct them into a different way, but it's just part of the harsh reality. You got to do it for the sake of yourself. Sometimes you got to do it for the sake of the organization.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you got to do it for them too, because if they don't learn it,
that's right.
I mean, what's the alternative? They just stay and cause trouble for the next 5 years or 10 years?
Or take energy.
Yeah. And eventually get frustrated and leave and do the same thing somewhere else. So sometimes the best thing you can do is move them along.
My mistakes have been, well, by the way, somebody needs to hit back on what you just said and listen to it again and then do that again. Because that's a hard truth to learn in the industry we're in. You know, my friend Joey Martin says, you're saved by grace, but you're not paid by grace.
Amen.
And, you know, I think if somebody's not willing to develop here, then it's hurting them, it's hurting their leader, and it's hurting the organization. Yep. And I have erred on the side of waiting too long. And sometimes it's been with young people, and sometimes it's been with older people. But our job is to help develop everybody who's here. And part of that is a context. I think our context here will develop you. With the way we work, with our expectations, you know, with our axioms and principles, the things we live by, our schedule, whatever, our context will develop you if you'll submit to it. If you resist it, we're going to know it, and then we're going to have to press into it. And then if you resist that, it's not going to work. But if you're willing to, this context itself will help you grow. Some people get here and they sort of try to avoid some of those things. But then also direct coaching will, and sometimes, and just like the old guys I was with today that are significant leaders, listening to them talk, a big part of coaching is correction. And a lot of times people don't want to listen to correction. I've had young people and older people not really willing to listen to correction. And that's been tough, man. Anything else to add before we close this down?
That's it, man. I think it was good.
It's good talk.
I enjoy this conversation.
Well, it's the nitty-gritty leadership stuff. And it's hard, but it's hard to see people get hurt. But we know on the other side of that pain is usually going to be a lot of pruning, a lot of growth. And I think there's some good principles in here for people to follow.
Well, it's a joy to be limping along with you here, bro.
Yeah, you too, man. Glad to do this with you. It's a joy to lead with you.
Of course.
And thanks for joining us today. I hope this was helpful for you. If you're a leader, there's some stuff in here that undoubtedly you can apply and you can use. If it was helpful for you, like it, share it, subscribe to it. That's the way this, gets in the algorithm. And if it's not valuable to you and you don't want to do that, quit wasting your time. Go find some good stuff out there. Hey, you are loved. Have a great week. See you soon. Thanks for spending time with us today on the Rethink and Return podcast. Here's all we ask from you. Will you subscribe to this, share this, let other people know about it? That'll help us get the message out. Share this content with other people if it's helpful to you. We're grateful for you. See you soon.